I've just wrapped my first complete calendar year as a self-employed content creator, and it has been an adventure to say the least. One of the biggest questions that I hear over and over again from this community is, how can I earn substantial income from content creation even if I have a small audience? Well, today I'm going to be walking you through my 8 income streams as a content creator, which combined make up my full-time income even as a micro-influencer. If you're new here, I'm a fashion and beauty content creator based in New York City, and I use this channel to help you create great content, grow your digital brand, and earn sustainable income from content creation. So if any of that interests you, please consider subscribing. If you've been around for a while, you already know that I quit my 9-to-5 job in April 2021 to pursue content creation full-time. And while I know it's cheesy to say this, it really has been the most incredible and fulfilling journey. I started my blog in 2012 and kept up with content creation as a side hustle for 9 years before taking this full-time, while I had school, jobs, and other obligations, which proved to me that this was more than just a passion and it was something that had longevity. 2022 is the first year where I can say that 100% of my income came from content creation in one form or another. With that being said, let's take a look right now into how I made money in my first full calendar year as a full-time content creator and dive into my income percentage breakdown. Just to give you a sense of where we're headed, I'm going to start out by sharing my smallest income stream and finish with my largest income stream for the year. I'm also going to let you know if I hit my goal for that particular revenue stream or if I was over under the goal slightly, and also what my plans are for that revenue stream as we head into 2023. So let's get started. Let's start out with affiliates. This is my smallest revenue stream and it made up 1.75% of my total revenue for the year. Affiliates has historically always been my smallest revenue stream, which is something that I'm okay with. That's kind of just where it sits on my personal breakdown. And this year I actually was able to set an affiliates goal for the first time ever. I thought it was a little aggressive, but I was able to hit 89% of the goal that I set out to achieve. So even though I was a little bit under, I still made more money with affiliates this year than I have in any previous year. So I was pretty happy with how that turned out. My biggest goal with affiliates as I head into this new year is to focus on the affiliate partners that offer me higher commission rates so I can focus on quality of recommendations rather than quantity and incorporate those recommendations into some of my long form content. So one example for this YouTube channel is that I really want to film my latest equipment for YouTube in terms of what camera I'm using, microphone, and so on. And I would love to create that long form searchable content where I incorporate those affiliate links. I know some content creators who find success with affiliates by linking 20 or more individual items daily on their Instagram stories, and I typically have found a better return on investment for affiliates for me when I incorporate them into my long form content, whether that's here on this YouTube channel or over on my blog. Let's move on to my next revenue stream, which made up 1.85% of my total 2022 income, and that was my Patreon membership. I launched my Patreon membership in January 2022, so since it was my newest revenue stream, I didn't anticipate it taking the place of any of my larger revenue streams. It really was just a fun add-on for me to test something brand new, which was creating content for a membership subscription. If you are not familiar with my Patreon, it is basically a resource hub and library for content creators that I update and add new things to every single month. So there are very affordable tiers that you can join. You get different things in different tiers, but that subscription is recurring revenue. Since this was my first year having this revenue stream, I set a pretty conservative goal for it. And because I set a more conservative goal, I did hit 96% of the goal that I was hoping to achieve with my Patreon. My goal with the Patreon this year is really just to continue what I've already been doing. I've been pretty happy with the retention in my Patreon membership, and based on polls and surveys that I've offered to the community, they seem pretty content with the resources I'm providing right now. So we'll have more of the same heading into 2023. But of course, each month that I add content will be another month of backlog that any members have access to. So if you join now, for example, you get access to all of the resources in that tier from 2022. I think that the amount I earn is pretty in line with the amount of work that I put into it. So I'm happy with that and excited to continue continue having this as an available, affordable option for creators to get access to resources and ideas for content into the new year. The next revenue stream I want to talk about that made up 4.5% of my total income for 2022 is one-on-one consulting. I introduced consulting as a revenue stream in 2020, and it actually, I think, became my second largest stream of income that year. So when it comes to consulting on paper, it kind of looks like I flopped this year because I made less than half of what I predicted I would make at the beginning of 2022. But I actually don't consider this a failure. If anything, this led me to a big realization about my creator business, which is that I really love education style content, kind of like what I'm doing right now, where I can help people on a one-to-many level versus just a one-to-one level. And I actually love one-on-one connections. I love getting to talk to people individually, but one-to-many makes more sense for me and my business, which is a realization I had about halfway through the year. And I didn't really want to adjust the goal at that point, you know, to make it lower. I just wanted to keep it what it was to remind myself that I did have this realization and think about what that means for consulting for this coming year. I will also add, consulting isn't really a service that I promote. Those, you know, who have followed my content for a while might stumble upon my website and find my consulting page and fill out an interest form for an influencer strategy session with me one-on-one, but it's not really something that I spend a lot of time promoting. It's really right now just been a nice supplement via word of mouth or via people, you know, messaging me on Instagram and asking if it's a service that I offer. So heading into 2023, my goal is to still keep consulting as a service that I offer, but take on fewer clients and also raise my prices so that I am really valuing the time that I spend with one-on-one clients and that I can provide the best possible support for anyone who's booking in with me one-on-one. And I will have other one-to-many options to work with me or get access to me and learn from me, which I'm going to talk about later on in this video. The next revenue stream I want to talk about is my digital products, which made up 4.5% of my overall income this past year. So I came in under the amount that I was predicting I would earn with digital products in 2022, and I think that's just because it was a big year of transformation for my digital products. I launched a new digital product, which is my campaign wrap-up report template. It's editable within Canva, and you can use it to share your analytics with brands in a really beautiful, perfectly packaged way when you finish up a brand deal. And I also went in and updated some of my existing digital products, and once I made those updates, I did also increase the price. All of that was my focus for the third quarter of 2022. So those updates were only really made, you know, already more than halfway into the year. And also when I set this goal at the top of the year, I was thinking of launching one new digital product in particular that I ended up putting in a different category other than digital products because it's kind of more than just a digital download. I think that is now how I would like to categorize my digital product section. And I will talk about the other digital product that's kind of more than that. It's more of an experience product versus just a one-time download that I now have in a different category. So knowing that distinction heading into this year will help me set a more accurate prediction for digital products. And I think that this will help me be more on target to meet my goals in 2023. One of my biggest goals for my digital products in 2023 is to increase the overall traffic that goes to my product shop, which is just hosted on my website, which is austentosone.com. And the main way that I would like to do this is by creating more searchable content like YouTube videos or blog posts where I plug my digital products, but I present them as kind of the next level up. Like if you're ready to take this free content a step further, here is a paid option that you can download right now that will help you get to the next level faster versus just watching free content and then trying to figure out some things for yourself, if that makes sense. The next income stream that I want to talk about made up 7.9% of my total 2022 income, and that was ad revenue. Ad revenue is quickly becoming one of my favorite income streams because I place ads on top of content that I've already created and can earn additional income from them. I have two main buckets that I earn ad revenue from. The first is AdSense here on YouTube. So whenever you see mid-roll video ads, pop-up ads, ads at the beginning or end of my video, I get paid for the views of those ads and also the clicks. And then over on my blog, Keep Calm and Chiffon, if you're reading any of the blog posts, you may notice ads as you're scrolling through the content, and that is also another way that I make money from advertising. For my blog, I had to independently apply to an ad network. The ad network that I'm a part of is the She Media Collective, and I really like them. Their minimum threshold to get in is 20,000 monthly page views, but if you're on the cusp of that, you can also try applying early, reaching out to them directly. I actually have a whole video where I talk about ad networks and how they work and how you can apply to them, so I'll leave a link to that video down below if you're interested, so I don't spend too much time on that now. But I actually did earn more this year than I was predicting to from ads, which was a really pleasant surprise because, again, ads show up on content that I've already created. My 2023 goal for ads is to do more of the same, keep up with what's working, and especially to pay attention to how, if at all, when Shorts monetization kicks in earlier this year, that impacts my YouTube ad revenue, if at all. Now, this is actually not one of my revenue streams, but I did want to include this in here because I think it's important to call out, which is that 8.5% of my total revenue for the year came from kind of miscellaneous stuff in a category that I just call other. Some of the work in this other category included things like taking on a freelance writing assignment, which is something I used to do a lot if you've been following for a while, and is something I'm still open to now, just depending on the pay and whether or not I have the time to complete something like that. Also, things like paid surveys where people are looking to poll content creators and get their opinion on products they're developing or new features that they're adding to existing products and things like that. And also focus groups for social media platforms or tech companies who, again, are really looking for user feedback. So because this is a revenue stream that basically I don't set a goal for, I don't anticipate earning a specific amount of money from these things as they kind of just pop up when they do, and I can either say yes or no to them. I don't really have a over-under for this revenue stream, and I don't have a goal for it for this upcoming year. It's kind of just that if the opportunity presents itself, if I have the time, I'll either say yes or pass on it. Moving right along to get into now some of the more substantial revenue streams, starting with education, which this year made up 16% of my total income for the year. Now, this is where I kind of messed up my digital product income stream a little bit because education used to just be called workshops, and right now I am developing more educational resources for content creators, and I've decided to rename this revenue stream education to account for all of the different types of educational content that's paid that I am creating. So there's really 3 buckets of this within education. The first is one-off workshops where I get hired by a company to kind of come in and present on a particular topic, do, a Canva slideshow, talk about something, and then maybe do a Q&A at the end. So those are kind of one-off workshops that are more service-based, client-based, right? That I spend the time creating the content, and then I actually present it live and get paid my workshop or presenter fee. And then the next type of workshop is my SEO workshop, which I was originally thinking would be a digital product, but I've decided to pull into the education category because I did do a live launch of this workshop over the summer, but it's now available as a 60-minute pre-recorded workshop that you can download at any time, like you could go buy right now from my website if you wanted to, and take it self-paced that you'll always have access to. And the third part of the education category is my brand new digital course that's launching this year called the Influencer Income Accelerator. It's basically, if you like this video, it's going to be a much deeper dive into the systems of setting goals, auditing your income, figuring out which revenue streams really make the most sense for you. And I'm so excited about this. And since I did a pre-sale of this course in December, I'm counting that in the education bucket, and I'm going to keep education as the overarching category for this revenue stream in 2023. If you want to be the first to know when you can enroll in the course, be sure to sign up for my email newsletter at the link down below, or just head to austentosone.com/subscribe. That will get you on my email newsletter, and that is the best place to hear about updates regarding when enrollment is open for the course. So I'm sure I'll share more about that as we get closer to the actual enrollment dates, but I did want to mention it, of course, in this category because between workshops that I was hired to do, my workshop that I live launched and now have on Evergreen, and also this digital course that's going to be my most robust educational offering to date, that all makes up my education category, and that is really the direction that I want to take this creator business in because it's what I love the most and it's what you all seem the most interested in. So that being said, as we head into 2023, my biggest goal with this revenue stream is, of course, to launch the first edition of the Influencer Income Accelerator, go through the whole launch with my students, get their feedback, make it better, and figure out if I will instantly put it on Evergreen or if I will do another live launch to kind of refine that even further. And I would love to see education be either my second highest or my top revenue stream of 2023 because it really is where my passion lies and it's something that I'm just so excited to like dive more into this year. Let's now move on and talk about my second highest earning income stream of 2022, which was brand deals. Brand deals accounted for 25% of my total revenue for the year, and I have a lot to say about this one. First, I think it's important to point out that historically, like pretty much every year that I've monetized as a content creator, brand partnerships have been my top earning revenue stream. In fact, last year they made up 54% of my total income, and in 2019 times they were like 80% of my total income. So brand deals have always been basically my main source of income as a content creator, and this is the first year, I think, ever that they weren't. And even though this was my second highest earning income stream of the year, I was under what I predicted earning from brand partnerships in this year. I only hit 42% of my predicted income for brand deals in 2022, and that is definitely kind of like the biggest disappointment of this year in terms of what I thought I was going to make versus what I actually did. But it's okay, and I'm going to tell you why it's okay. When I look back at my income from previous years, not only has brand partnerships historically been my top earning revenue stream, but the majority of that income has come in the fourth quarter, which is holiday season. It's a very busy time, usually, for influencers and brands to work together to create sponsored content. But when you are so reliant on something that happens at the end of the year, it doesn't really give you a lot of room to pivot or make adjustments when you only have a 3-month window to focus on versus when you have the full year ahead of you. So I was pretty much on track for the first half of the year with my brand partnership earnings, anticipating that I'd make the most money at the end of the year, which ultimately didn't end up happening. I think there are two big reasons why I didn't get as many brand deals in the fourth quarter. The first is just greater influencer competition. There's more content creators than ever before, maybe some who weren't monetizing last holiday season if they had just gotten started and had gone viral on TikTok or Reels or whatever platform they were on, were taking advantage of that this year. Brands have more choices of who to work with. And so you really, really, really have to maintain your existing brand relationships and create amazing new content to stand out when it comes to brand deals. And also, we have to acknowledge the economy. We could be headed for a potential recession still as well. And for that reason, brands are scrutinizing every dollar that they spend. They may have scaled back some of their marketing efforts towards the end of the year. They have to prioritize their employees and those salaries. So there's just a lot at play looking at the economy overall. And when you add in more competition, it means that it's more competitive. I'll leave it there. I talk a lot more about this in this video right here about how to prepare your business as a creator for a potential recession. So you can go watch that if you'd like a more in-depth explanation of what I just mentioned, and also to hear some suggestions for kind of recession-proofing your business as an influencer. And I'm very lucky that I've had all these other revenue streams that made it not that big a deal to lose that income in the fourth quarter, because I was okay and I did overperform in other areas, like with ad revenue and education, as I already mentioned. I've been working towards getting to this point of being less reliant on brand partnerships for a long time. So even though I actually love working with brands, I love getting new partnerships in and finding brands that I really like and use every day to share with you if I think they're valuable. I love that whole creative process of the brand campaign overall. But it feels nice to be able to be picky, be selective, and make sure that I'm choosing brands that I think you'll really love and that I think are actually of value that I find to be great. That being said, for 2023, I really want to nurture my existing brand relationships, just keep in touch with everyone I already know who works for brands that I use and love, and also create a lot of great organic content that features the brands that I love. So if I ever go to pitch them for a paid partnership, I can show them a real example of me using their product, what my audience is saying about it, and really making that pitch feel authentic and like it's very aligned when I do go to reach out. And now let's talk about my top earning revenue stream of 2022. And this literally surprised me so much. If you told me at the beginning of 2022 this would be my top revenue stream, I would not have believed you. But that is platform incentives. And when I say platform incentives, I'm talking about on-platform monetization features like creator funds, like Reels bonuses, and all of those things that are built in to the social media platforms that we use on a day-to-day basis. So for me in particular, I'm talking about Reels bonuses on both Instagram and Facebook. I'm talking about the TikTok Creator Fund and also the Pinterest Creator Rewards Beta. Now, normally I would be really excited to see that pretty much a brand new revenue stream, something that I only really started calculating towards the end of 2021, had made such a big jump and become such a big part of my income for this year. In fact, it made up 30% of my total income for the year, which is kind of crazy. But the reason that I'm not that excited about this and that I don't predict earning this same amount of money from platform incentives heading into 2023 is because the platform that I was earning the most from, which was the Pinterest Creator Rewards Beta, has shut down. I mean, looking back at Q1, that was my top earning quarter of the year, and in large part that was due to what Pinterest was paying creators in their Creator Rewards beta program. I made 5 figures from that program, and so that was a really exciting time. I'm so glad that at the time I was taking advantage of that being offered to me and me being a part of that beta program to do as much with it as I possibly could and kind of like max it out almost in a sense. But since they've discontinued that program, and also I should say, you know, at the beginning of 2022, the payments were really high and it felt really rewarding to be able to like work towards those goals. They did open it up to more creators later in the year, which they dropped the payments to accommodate more creators. That was totally fine. But the rates really did just continue to drop as the year went on. We were getting like 1/10 of what we were getting in January by December. So I kind of had the foresight that this was not something that was going to continue to be a big presence in my income and that I should turn my attention towards other areas of my business. So I'm really, really sad to see this program go. I think it was great for content creators. I think that it finally felt like we were being compensated fairly, something that we deserved. But obviously if they can't keep it up to, you know, what it once was when I thought it was really great, if they can't maintain that same level of payments and quality, you know, I obviously understand seeing it kind of go to the wayside. I think this was a great example of like what on-platform monetization could look like and how it could be really beneficial for content creators because, as I said at the beginning of the year, the rates felt really fair and it felt really exciting to just have that opportunity to be compensated for my work. I think this goes to show that social media platforms still have more to do in terms of figuring out the best on-platform monetization methods. I know Instagram had launched and then sunsetted their in-app affiliates program. YouTube, I know, is launching affiliates. If they haven't already into shorts, they're going to early this year. So there are ways and platforms are doing much better now than they were a few years ago, but it still is one of those situations. And I think I am an example of this year where it could hit really big, but how reliable is it? These are really important questions to ask yourself as you're auditing your income from last year and setting income goals for this year. And so, like for me personally, I think platform incentives will drop down somewhere in the middle for me in terms of income streams. I do not think it will be my top earning revenue stream heading into 2023. I'm hopeful that education will turn into my top earning revenue stream this year. But yeah, I hope you guys really enjoyed looking back on my 2022 with me. Overall, I hit 85% of my revenue goal for the year, so I'm pretty happy with that for my first time out on my own. I think the revenue goal was a tiny bit aggressive, and if I had had a couple more brand partnerships, I think I could have pulled it off, but either way, I'm very happy with the results. I would love to see this income, double next year. That would be great. And I'll, of course, keep you all posted on the process of that. My word for the year is amplify. My word for 2022 was build. And I think that having the word amplify heading into 2023 is just to make everything bigger, larger, reach more people, help more people, and take advantage of everything that I built, this really strong foundation of my creator business last year, and just get it out to more people. So that being said, if you know of any fellow content creator friends who you think would enjoy this YouTube video or any videos on my channel, sharing it with them is huge. You have no idea how much that means to me, how that helps me. Leaving comments, liking my videos, anything like that really continues to push my content out into the right people on YouTube. And I'm super appreciative anytime someone takes the time to do that because I know how valuable your time is. Also, if you have any requests of videos you'd like to see from me in 2023, leave me a comment down below. I would love to look through some of those and work them into my content schedule for the year. I think I have a lot of great videos coming up you're going to be excited about, so of course you're going to want to subscribe and stick around to see more. And if you're ready to make 2023 the year you just absolutely dominate the influencer world, be sure to download my free guide, The Influencer Launchpad. This is perfect whether you are just doing a refresh at the top of the year or whether you're a newer content creator looking for some direction. This will help you find your why, think about your primary posting platform, build out a content schedule with your content pillars, and much more. So that guide is free and you can grab it from the link down below in the description box. I definitely think you should check it out. Even if you've checked it out before, doing a revisit of it at the top of the year, I think is a really smart way to start setting your goals. If you're thinking about leaving your 9-to-5 job this year, be sure to check out the up next recommendation on the screen to learn more about how I financially prepared to take content creation full-time. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.